All right. As the dust settles and the roller coaster comes to an end, most likely, I want to look at just what the actual blank, because cursing in the first 30 seconds of a video demonetizes you, has been going on at OpenAI with the CEO, then not CEO, and then now CEO again, Sam Altman. Sam Altman, for those that don't know, is the big name behind ChatGPT. You probably know about that at the very least. Yes, the brilliant Silicon Valley entrepreneur responsible for an $86 billion company, Sam Altman, whose background also includes WorldCoin. WorldCoin being the eyeball scanning orbs that targeted poverty-stricken countries around the globe to harvest biometric data from poor people and monetize it, perpetuating a black market for iris scans in the process. That's kind of beside the point. I have an entire video on that specifically, but the gist of it is that he's a big tech CEO, a position I hold a great deal of disdain for at the Silicon Valley level, who capitalizes on predatory technology to what exactly? Because to me, it seems like he's building something that may destabilize the online world with mass-produced pseudo-human garbage, and then also harvesting everyone's biometric data for profit in order to allegedly solve the problem that the other thing he is recklessly pursuing might create. Basically, oh look, I poisoned you, now buy the antidote from me. Suffice it to say, I have strong feelings on this, but that's not the point of the video. The point is to discuss how an $86 billion company went from stable to kicking out its CEO, to firing its own board of directors, to reinstating the same CEO again in like 96 hours. Friday, November 17th, at precisely I don't know what time because they don't have it on the blog post, OpenAI announces that effective immediately, Sam Altman would be stepping down as CEO to be replaced by Mira Murati. Now, the reason they gave is pretty intense, citing, quote, Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI, end quote. And further down, quote, OpenAI was deliberately structured to advance our mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all humanity. The board remains fully committed to serving this mission, end quote. Now, the first part's kind of wild because they're basically saying he's a liar who deliberately misled them, an accusation that we now know, thanks to reporting by the Wall Street Journal, led to questions by U.S. regulators and law enforcement entities. But the second part is relevant because we would later learn, according to sources vetted by Reuters, that staff researchers at OpenAI, directly before the ousting of its CEO, Sam Altman, sent a letter to the board of directors, quote, warning of a powerful artificial intelligence discovery that they said could threaten humanity, end quote. That's already a lot to process. They were talking about something called Q-Star, an internal project at OpenAI, and I don't exactly believe that the current version of generative AI or the existing, publicly existing at least, large language models are a threat to humanity as a whole, but they're headed in that direction, so yeah, I don't know, that's up in the air. Actually, there's this giant 4chan conspiracy theory now that Q-Star represents an AI advancement that can break certain types of encryption, which spurred OpenAI to try and warn the NSA about all this. And that's a pretty wild rabbit hole, which could probably be its own video, maybe, at some point. Regardless, despite all of that happening in the span of like one day, we're just getting started because the carnival of Silicon Valley tech bros is a gift that keeps on giving. All right. Understanding the now exponentially developing mission of technology companies to harvest personal information about you, including scans of your eyeballs, it becomes clear that every day we, the collective we, as in humanity, advance closer and closer to a purely digital existence. Some are in favor, some are against, but the reality is we are pushing the boundaries in terms of how much of our life and information is now digitized. Convenient? Sometimes, sure, but dangerous? Always. Incog, the sponsor of today's video, is here to help with that. Every year, the number and scope of data breaches when it comes to your personal information is only ever rising. Identity theft is up over 300% in the past decade alone, and one of the primary reasons for that is data brokers. There are hundreds of commercial data brokers selling your information, including names, addresses, aliases, login credentials, even social security numbers at times, on a daily basis. Even worse, for the United States at least, there are what's called people search websites, which are hyper-prone to abuse by bad actors, making your personal information more vulnerable now than it ever was in the past. Incog solves this. With specific legal permission to work on your behalf, Incog reaches out to data brokers, gets your information taken down from their services and platform, and squashes any objection. That's my favorite part. I've used the service myself. I can personally attest to the quality of results, and as a side note, it's hyper valuable to me as a public figure, like a YouTuber, because my information has been breached like 7 times as a result of both lawsuits, unfortunately, and software services I use. If you ever wondered why you keep getting robocalls, yeah, that's because data brokers have your information and they're selling it. Incogni is designed to get rid of that information and protect you from the never-ending bombardment of bad actors. Incogni works automatically. Just create an account, grant permission, and let them work. Plus, they will resubmit removal requests every time your data pops up again at a broker, continuing to be proactive for as long as you decide to use the service. The first 100 people to click the link down below using code Echelon at checkout will get 60% off Incogni. Again, link down below in the description, and the first 100 viewers who click it will get 60% off their purchase, as Incogni helps protect and remove their personal information. Big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring the channel. So Sam Altman gets ousted because the board says he's a deliberate liar, and internal researchers claim they discovered a threat to humanity, allegedly. And then law enforcement tunes into the subject because an $86 billion company just got thrown into chaos. What happened next? Next, everybody freaked out. The public freaked out, the employees freaked out, and most importantly, Microsoft freaked out. Something like 745 of the total 770 OpenAI employees signed on to a letter demanding that the board of directors resign completely while reinstating Sam Altman as CEO. And Microsoft decided to pounce, for lack of a better word, offering to hire any OpenAI staff member who resigned in protest. That basically destabilized the entire company, and OpenAI started desperately trying to get Sam back as CEO shortly after getting rid of him in the first place because things were blowing up in their face. Separately, because I found this to be horrifying and also hilarious, a mattress company called 8 Sleep supposedly tracked the sleep quality of people in San Francisco and saw that there was a 27% increase in the people getting under 5 hours of sleep during this whole crisis event. Even your mattress is collecting data about your behavior. Anyway, things were heating up, but they'd never be hot enough without Elon Musk, of course, who decided to post a now deleted letter, but we have an archive, thankfully, allegedly from prior employees of OpenAI, not current ones, this time speaking out not in favor, but against Sam Altman. Quote, "Throughout our time at OpenAI, we witnessed a disturbing pattern of deceit and manipulation by Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, driven by their insatiable pursuit of achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI. Their methods, however, have raised serious doubts about their true intentions and the extent to which they genuinely prioritize the benefit of all humanity." End quote. And then, very interestingly, further down, quote, "Sam's discreet yet routine exploitation of OpenAI's non-profit resources to advance his personal goals, particularly motivated by his grudge against Elon following their falling out." End quote. Now, I don't know if that's even real. It's hilarious to me that while 90+% of the current staff at OpenAI are writing to the board of directors demanding resignation in favor of Sam Altman, somehow Elon Musk has this other letter about how Sam Altman committed crimes to pursue a personal grudge against him. But like I said, the story wouldn't be complete without some more fireworks, so Elon obviously decided to produce them. Even still, this shit was far from over because even as the foundation of the company literally fell apart beneath them, the board of directors decided to officially appoint Emmett Shear, who confirmed that he had accepted the offer on social media, as the new CEO of OpenAI, interim CEO. Now, you would be forgiven for not knowing who that person is, but it's actually the former CEO of Twitch, as in Twitch.tv, the Amazon streaming service. And my personal opinion here, he ran that platform into the ground. This is a pretty eloquent thread from Rod Breslau, also known as Slasher, about how shit and out of touch he is. But the main point is that allegedly their first 2 choices turned down the offer, and then they arrived at Emmett Shear, who finally accepted, and then demanded that they explain why they fire Sam Altman as well, funnily enough. And no one was excited because that's a fucking terrible choice. That seemed like possibly the end of it, but oh no, because then Satya Nadella, chairman and CEO of Microsoft, announces, quote, "We look forward to getting to know Emmett Shear and OpenAI's new leadership team and working with them, and we're extremely excited to share the news that Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, together with colleagues, will be joining Microsoft to lead a new advanced AI research team." End quote. Once again, that seemed like it would be the final outcome, with Microsoft basically just big dick energy wiping out their own investment and stealing all the workers in the process until the board of directors at OpenAI just threw in the towel, it seems, because the company was basically gone at this point, and released a statement reading, quote, "We have reached an agreement in principle for Sam Altman to return to OpenAI as CEO with a new initial board of Brett Taylor, chair, Larry Summers, and Adam D'Angelo. We are collaborating to figure out the details. Thank you so much for your patience through this, end quote. In case it wasn't clear at this point, that means that the board of directors got almost completely fired. One guy is still there. They brought 2 new people in and removed 5 of them. Without mincing words, this means that in the span of just a couple of days, OpenAI ousted their CEO, claiming he was a liar, almost got investigated by the US government, or multiple agencies from said government, lost all their employees, hired a new CEO, a terrible one, then desperately got back the one that they just fired and deleted their own board of directors to do it. Well done, boys. Really, just well done. Ultimately, Microsoft comes out ahead in all this, dramatically, and the reality of what actually happened and why remains kind of elusive. Failed coup? Kind of looks like it. Or desperate last attempt to get rid of a maniac who is recklessly pursuing tech that will destroy humanity? It kind of looks like that too. In the end, I don't know what to think about it because it's a shit show, and that's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. Incog, the video sponsor, of course, to protect your data. Monthly memberships, Patreon, locals, channel memberships, etc. We have an entire merchandise line coming soon, produced by Agent Inc., which I'm pretty excited for. But yeah, I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, question everything and have a nice night.